Mr. Whitaker, I want to talk about the days leading and the hours leading up to the accident. But before I do, I want to remind you that you are under oath and that any testimony you give here today will be considered admissible in any subsequent hearings or criminal proceedings. Do you understand what that means? Captain Whitaker, for the record, I need you to verbalize your answer.
I'm sorry. Yes, I understand.
On the 3 days...
Holy crap, Colin's doing another scene breakdown. Oh my goodness. Well, working on movie sets all week has put me in a movie mood because, like I've been saying this whole time, movie business is my business. And a bunch of you fucking haters that are left, I keep finding more, excuse me, think I'm playing, and I'm not. So, I had a little bit of time before karaoke tonight, and I wanted to record another little scene breakdown. I have been speaking a lot about my addiction issues and how people mistook my addiction for a bipolar diagnosis. Well, it turns out when you're high as fuck all the time and not sleeping, it can look a little crazy. I don't disagree with that. But once you get sober, and you're just eccentric, and your normal Colin fucking self, and people still call you fucking crazy, as if you were acting like you were when you were high as fuck, and not sleeping, it's pretty fucking annoying, man. Especially after, well, it's 2024 now, after 2 fucking years! I've been, I shouldn't say I've been okay for 2 years. I've been okay since October, since I got sober. I like how that rhymes. But this movie, Flight, ties into addiction, and just how the lyric breakdown the other day by Kendrick Lamar broke down how abuse works, this breaks down how addiction works. I'm not going to spoil my thoughts on it yet. I'm going to let the scene play out, and I'll give you context when timely.
Leading up to the accident, Tuesday, October 11th, Wednesday, October 12th, or Thursday, October 13th, did you consume any alcohol or other intoxicating elements?
No, I did not.
On the morning of the accident, Friday, October 14th, did you consume any alcohol or ingest any chemicals or drugs that may have impaired your ability to perform your job?
No, I did not.
Mr. Whitaker, do you now, or have you ever had a problem with alcohol dependency, alcoholism, or drug addiction?
No.
Okay, Mr. Whitaker, we're about done. Due to the severe turbulence in the early part of the flight, you asked the flight crew to suspend the beverage service on the plane, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I suspended the drink service on the plane.
Are you aware that our investigators found 2 single-service vodka bottles in the galley trash bin?
Yes, I'm aware of that.
There were 5 crew members on board that would have had access to the beverage trolley. Less than an hour after the accident, blood was taken from each of these crew members, yourself, First Officer Evans, Flight Attendant Margaret Thomason, and posthumously from Camilla Satow and Caterina Marquez. Toxicology analysis was performed, and 3 of these tests came back negative. 1 was disqualified for technical reasons, and 1 tested positive for alcohol. It registered a .17 blood alcohol level. Are you aware of that?
Well, yeah, I'm aware of it now.
So, to give a little bit of context, if you haven't seen this movie, Denzel Washington, give me one sec. Denzel Washington is a pilot. He's been a pilot for years. He's ex-Air Force and joined the commercial pilot team, whatever the fuck. And some sudden catastrophe happens on his plane, and his plane starts to nosedive because of a malfunction on the plane. And he miraculously takes the plane out of a nosedive, flies the plane upside down, like a fucking Boeing 747, like a plane that me and you would use, not a private plane. He somehow figures out how to fly this plane upside down and then roll it over again to softly land onto the ground, well, as softly as possible in a crash landing. And instead of all 300 some people on the plane being killed, 2 people are killed and a couple people are injured. So Denzel Washington's efforts worked. What he did was fucking nuts. Crazy good pilot. It worked. He saved hundreds of lives. But he is a drug addict. He is an alcoholic in this movie, above all else. And he was drunk while he did that. Despite the fact that he pulled off this miraculous miracle and saved these people's lives, he was fucking drunk. And he ended up in the hospital, and he's in a courtroom right now. And they're trying to figure out, like, what the fuck happened? Why did the plane go down? She's asking him, like, were you drunk? Have you ever had problems with alcohol? Was it you? And he's like, nope, I don't know shit. Never had a drink in my life. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. No, defending himself. And basically lying his ass off in court to cover his ass, because he did legitimately save those people's lives, but he is he's a very functional alcoholic, put it like that. I'm gonna move on.
That.
Well, yeah, I'm aware of it now.
Miss Marquez was not only a colleague, but you knew her outside of work, is that correct?
Outside of work? No, not really.
Did you know Miss Marquez had a drinking problem?
No, I did not.
Did you ever see her drink to excess?
No, I did not.
Were you aware that she was twice treated for alcohol addiction? The last time was 16 months ago and paid for by Southjet Airlines?
No, I did not.
He's not lying here.
Is it your opinion that Caterina Marquez drank on that flight?
She was his coworker, and she was one of the ones to die on this flight. He, hang on. There we go. He's looking at the posthumous face of one of his dear friends that died in this catastrophe that he has super mixed feelings about, because he knows that he acted correctly. He saved the plane, and they said that they ran several tests, and like no pilot could have done what he did. He pulled off a fucking miracle. He saved these people's lives, but he's a functional alcoholic, and he was fucking drunk, and he knows that, and he knows at least part of his friend's death was his fault, and he's looking into her eyes, and I wasn't able to show it because of time in this scene. He is fucking wasted right now. He got wasted the night before this court hearing because he's an alcoholic. And what us addicts do is the best way to deal with pain is to feed it pleasure. You get fucking high, or you get fucking drunk so you don't have to feel it anymore, and then you feel better, and then you go and live your life. And you're fucked up, but you feel better, because there's this pain, there's this rot inside of you that you can't fucking get rid of. It's an itch you can't itch until you itch it with weed, with alcohol, with coke, with heroin, with sex. And he knows that since he had to itch his itch, he could have caused his friends, his dear coworker, one of his best female friends in his life, could have caused her death.
Could you repeat the question?
Is it your opinion that Caterina Marquez drank on that flight?
I'm sorry, my what?
Your opinion, Captain. Since her toxicology report is the only toxicology report that is admissible in this hearing, and she in fact tested positive for alcohol, is it your opinion that Caterina Marquez drank those 2 bottles of vodka on the plane? I'm sorry, Mr. Whitaker, I couldn't hear you. What did you say?
I said, God help me.
Yes, well, however, is it your opinion?
It's my opinion. Trina did not drink that vodka.
Excuse me, Mr. Whitaker?
She saved the boy's life. That's...
Could you speak louder, Captain
Trina
Whitaker?
Marquez did not drink the vodka. Because I drank the vodka. Yeah. Objection!
Please be seated, sir.
Whitaker misspoke.
Sir.
I drank the vodka bottles.
I object. Please be seated, sir. This is not a courtroom.
Well, I object anyway. I drank the vodka bottles on the plane.
Captain Whitaker, on the 3 nights before the accident, October 11th...
October 11th, October 12th, and 13th, and 14th, I was intoxicated. I drank all of those days. I drank in excess.
On the morning of the accident.
I was drunk. I'm drunk now. I'm drunk right now, Miss Block. Because I'm an alcoholic.
How do you take 20,000 children in the middle of New York City without anybody seeing?
This? Shut up. Thank you. Go back. Thank you. Hang on, I want to get to a good... I don't like that face. This is such an emotional scene, man. Because the entire movie, this is at the end of the movie. The entire movie, he's working with his lawyer and his good friend to build a case to convince the court that he was not drunk while he saved those people on that plane. And this is the courtroom hearing, and he was supposed to play it cool and blame whoever he had to blame. And this is the important part. Lie again. That is the biggest part of addiction that I learned. Is addiction is when you live in lies. Addiction is when you think you can get away with going and getting fucked up and going to work and people won't be able to tell. You think you can get fucked up and go and watch your kids and they can't tell. You think you can go in front of your grandparents high and they can't tell. Guess what? They fucking can. They can. And you're lying to yourself when you say that you can't. You can get away with this. Because I have to itch this itch. I'm in pain. I have to itch this. I'm going to itch it and go babysit my kids. And it's okay because they can't tell. Yes, they can. You're fucking lying to yourself. And Denzel Washington has been lying to himself this entire movie, his entire life, his entire adult life. He's been lying to himself because he's been a very, very functional alcoholic. Tons of money, works a corporate job as a pilot. He gets drunk every time he fucking flies. He gets drunk. He doesn't drink. I drink. I have 1 or 2 beers. I've never had a problem with alcohol. I had an awful problem with pot. He gets drunk when he flies, and he's gotten away with it all this time, and then catastrophe happens, and his dear friend dies, and he looks into the eyes of her when she was alive, and he knows that he has a hand in this, and he has to look at the court and lie one last time, and it breaks him. He can't do it anymore. He can't lie anymore. And the beautiful thing that this movie shows is he takes the first step in recovery after he realizes he can't lie anymore.
I drank the vodka bottles on the 12th and 13th and 14th.
Accident.
I was drunk.
I'll wait for it. This is confession.
I'm drunk now.
This is part of the process of recovery. And it shows it so clearly.
I'm drunk right now. Miss Block.
Why? And he answers it.
Because I'm an alcoholic.
Oh my God. And the classic Denzel Washington lip quiver, and he's crying. Why? Because I'm an alcoholic. Because I can't fucking function without this. Because I'm sick and I'm hurt, and the only way I know how to get better is to drink and drink and drink until I fucking pass out. And back when I lost everything with my ex-fiance, the only way I knew how to feel better was to smoke and smoke and smoke until I didn't pass out, so I went fucking crazy in front of everybody. And I thought it was fun, because I couldn't fucking feel anything, especially the pain. And I just giggled and laughed, and that was that. And it took me all this time until October 2023 to admit I am an addict. I have a fucking problem. I was addicted to pot. And I was like Denzel Washington. I thought I could get away with going to job interviews high. I thought I could get away with going to work high. I thought I could get away with going to my family's high. I was lying to myself and everyone around me. Look them in the eyes, and I'm high as fuck, and I genuinely think I can get away with them believing that I'm sober, or at least in a good state of mind. It took me all this time to admit I'm a fucking addict, and I'm permanently done with pot because of it. And the beautiful thing that this shows here is this is the first step of Denzel Washington's character's recovery. He can't lie anymore. That is one line he won't cross, is to bash his deceased friend for the sake of his addiction. He's not going to cross that fucking line, man. There's a line I wouldn't cross. I lost my fucking mind on Snapchat because I was high as fuck and I put myself in a psychosis. I didn't realize until a couple months after I was sober what I actually fucking did. And now I still deal with the repercussions of my addiction. People still think I'm bipolar. No one thought I was bipolar prior to that. Nobody. I got Employee of the Month at Lucky's. They don't have an Employee of the Month at Lucky's. They made it up for me because I'm an excellent employee when I'm sober. But when I'm fucking high, I'm awful. And Denzel Washington realized that in this moment. How awful am I? Am I awful enough to say that this plane crash was my deceased friend's fault because she was also an alcoholic? And he says, fuck no, I'd rather go to fucking prison for murder, for recklessness, for crashing a fucking plane when I'm a pilot, than to rat out my friend. This is such a powerful display of recovery. This is such a powerful display of raw emotion. And dude, Denzel Washington is such a good fucking actor, man. He knows he's fucked, but he's saved. He knows he's going to prison, but he's not lying anymore. He's done lying. He's not an alcoholic anymore because he took the first step and said, you know what? I'm gonna stop fucking lying.